This mother goes into Little Caesars. She's missing 60 cents short on her order and she's refused her order. So she picks up her phone, starts recording the cashier, and in the attempt of exposing them, she posts this video on social media and the internet is like super divided about it. First, let's see what happened, then let's talk about it.
Cool. I just want you to tell Little Caesars that you just refused 60 cents and I just brought my baby in here and I had $7. That's cool, but you see I'm crying. It's cool. I just want them to know. I just want them to know that you couldn't help me off of 60 cents. And I'm trying to feed a baby. A fucking baby. Off of 60 cents. 60 cents. You couldn't let 60 cents slide. You couldn't even let 60 cents slide. Now my baby's still gonna be hungry. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You about to go
Now,
viral.
coming from a place where I understand struggle, I was homeless. I slept outside in the wintertime, freezing on church steps, couldn't get into fucking shelters because I didn't have a child. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to feel like the world is coming to an end. With that said, because some people assume when you speak on certain topics you've never experienced it, now I'm going to tell you how I feel about her situation. Because I have sympathy. I don't want to see a mother and her child go hungry. But here's my thing. I wholeheartedly understand that struggling financially can be stressful. But recording and trying to shame a fast food worker over 60 cents is not the answer. People need to understand, myself included, I've worked as a fast food worker, and a lot of people do not understand. Fast food workers can still get written up and or fired if they give away an order without receiving the full payment, even 60 cents. But you also need to understand that even though you're in an emotional state, emotional situation, that is not that worker's fault. They are following the rules. Now, I did see another video about this woman that I forgot to download and now I can't find it, but she was actually talking about how she's a hairstylist. She does hair, she has a car, she does have a place to live, and she was just short 60 cents that day. So she's not homeless. She just was struggling with money for that moment. And if she really did only have $7 to her name at the moment, guilting a fast food worker over giving you your order because you're short 60 cents probably wasn't the option. There are other options that you had though to make meals that could have stretched out with that $7. And before I get into that, maybe if you would have calmly asked for the manager, something could have been done instead of you pulling out your phone and the first thing you're doing is trying to shame this person who is literally just doing their job. You're trying to turn them into the villain when it is literally not their obligation to take care of you in your time of need. And I understand how messed up that sounds, but that is just the reality of life. And just because you're screaming, oh, my baby's gonna be hungry, the first thing people think is, oh my God, how could you do that to a hungry baby and her mother? But it's like, first of all, we don't know how old that baby is, because if the baby is like a fucking infant or something like that, that baby's not eating no pizza. That pizza's for her. And even if the baby was a little bit older, people not realizing like Little Caesars is not the only option that she has with $7 to feed her and her child. So with $7, I actually came up with a little list that might help somebody down the line in the future currently of things that you can get. Now we're gonna start with, if she had access to a stove, she could have gotten some rice and beans from the dollar store. She could have gotten ramen with some eggs. She could have gotten peanut butter and bread. She could have got a bag of pasta with canned sauce. She could have got oatmeal, bananas, and bread. She could have got hot dogs and buns, a pack of eggs, and some toast. And just those options alone, whichever one that she picked, would have fed her more meals than one pizza from Little Caesars. Now, for some options, if she doesn't have access to a stove, she could get peanut butter, jelly, and sandwich bread. She can get tuna packets with crackers. They do sell hot rotisserie chicken at Walmart. She can buy a hot rotisserie chicken, and if you go later at night, sometimes they have them discounted. She can get bread, lunch meat, and cheese. She could have gotten maybe yogurts, fruit cups, bananas, applesauce, cereal and milk, ready to eat soups or microwavable meals if she has a microwave. They have like the chicken noodle soups that you can warm up. They also have even the canned beef stew from Progressive. Those are like $1 each. She could have gotten a couple of those and that would have fed her and her child for a few days. But she most definitely had options outside of trying to publicly shame somebody for doing their job. Struggling is not easy, but trying to demand that a minimum wage worker just gives you your order while that makes their register short, that's not the answer because you're risking their job too. Sometimes you can just calmly talk to a manager and just try to take your chance and just letting them know, hey, look, I'm just short 60 cents right now, just trying to feed me and my kid. You never know what people may or may not do for you, but you can't demand that from a worker who is just clocking in to do their job to go home. And they do not have to risk their jobs or their livelihood so that you can come up short on your order. Like, people have to understand you are not the only person that exists in the world. The world does not revolve only around you. When you're having a moment, you need to realize that you're not the only person having a moment. That person at the register, they could be going through it too. You just never know. So don't just pull out your phone trying to expose somebody as like a horrible human being with no fucking feelings when that's not it. They're just following their job. They have cameras on them and they can't do what you want just because you yell and scream. People need to understand that. And if she was really in desperate need of feeding her child, she didn't need to fucking sit there and throw a whole fit over some pizza. She could have took that $7 to Dollar General, Family Dollar, and got her a couple of options that she could have fed her child with. But yeah, so if you guys have heard of this situation and after watching this video, how do you feel? Are you on the side of the worker or are you on the side of the mom? Do you think what she did was right or do you think she could have just did it? She could have gone about it differently and she had other options. She didn't have to get the pizza.